Put This On, Season 6, Episode 48, where we watched We're Here, Season 2, Episode 1, and we're going to mourn a beard today. I'm Chris Lorenz.
I cannot twerk, but that doesn't mean I haven't tried every single day. This is Brian.
There's a reference to the show we watched this week, and if this is your first time joining us, we watch a different reality show each week, discussing it in minute detail, figuring out if it's good or bad. And last week, we watched Top Chef Quest for an Iron Legend, and we had a poll on Twitter at Who Put This On, and trying to figure out what you guys thought about the show. And we got a middle third show vote from the audience. So there you go. If you want to tell us what you thought about this show, you can follow us on Twitter at Who Put This On, and you can vote there. Brian, what is this show?
This week we watched We're Here. Bob the Drag Queen, Eureka O'Hara, and Shangela Laquifa Wadley show small communities the human side of drag in this 6-part series. You can find that show on HBO Max.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a Queer Eye-ish vibe going, but different.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is the queer guy formula. Like, they're coming into like communities and like helping like folks in these communities like gain confidence or like figure out themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's like somebody comes in and helps your life, right? Like, that's the show. But there's not like, there's not the grooming guy and like, the cooking guy, the space guy. It's just like, it's one guy, one person,
Yeah, there's a way more focus, and it's a focus on the whole person versus like versus becoming your person, if that makes any sense. Like,
Nope.
you have a big unlock where it's like, oh yeah, this is me. I'm accepting of myself versus like, okay, I have these things that I want to improve about myself. I want to like get a little cooking, learn a little dancing, etc.
I think it's more like the Queer Eye show is much more of like a well-rounded, we're going to like look at all parts of your life. And this is like, okay, what's wrong with your like queerness, or like, what are we doing this? They're all at the end of the day. So they're all going to do a drag show. So all like this whole thing is prepping them to do a drag show. So that's the show is 3 people come in, each one of them pairs off with another person, and then they prepare them for this drag show. Now, these people are picked for various reasons, which we'll get into, which I think this episode probably has most of the archetypes. Unclear, though. I'm sure there's probably some other ones in other episodes, but it's very much like a documentary. It's, the producers are coming in and making this drag show happen. But the way the show feels, it feels much more like a documentary. Like, you feel these are real people. You feel that they're going through these things, and you feel like their pain as they're trying to get through these things. And some of them, obviously have more pain than others, or like struggles might be the better word.
Everyone has their own story on there, and it is heartwarming a bit to just listen to it and see them grow.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's go person by person, which will introduce us to the drag person that they're with. Then we'll do the show at the end.
Okay.
Sure. Why not? I don't care. Yeah. So they go to Spartanburg, South Carolina. So as we all know, the South is really nice to gay people, and especially trans people.
Yeah, I found it like really weird that the subtle shade at the beginning of the show, like there was like, oh yeah, it's like so friendly and like hospitable, and it is there to an extent, but not to folks in this community. Usually.
Yeah, they did have like a weird tone with being in the South. Like, they towed this line of like, oh, it's fine in the South, but it's not fine in the South. And we're like, we all know it's not fine. Like, you realize the struggles they go through are way harder in Spartanburg, South Carolina than like San Francisco or, Seattle or LA. Like, you want to be drag in Seattle, like, no one even is going to look at you.
Yeah. They're talking about like growing up around the Bible Belt, so there's a lot of judgment going on.
Oh, 100%. So our first person is Noah. Noah's not on the show, but Noah is on the show. Not the person that's usually on the podcast, but So we see him first as dressed like a regular male, and we have David Hugard, or in the show he's also Eureka O'Hara. He's a drag queen from obviously RuPaul's Drag Race. All three of these people come from RuPaul's Drag Race. So he's coming in. So his job is to come in and prepare Noah for this drag show they're trying to put on. And he comes in, and you can really tell that Noah is like, he's dressed as a man. He says that he is like a man, but he doesn't seem like that's himself.
Yeah, he said he identified as male, but confused male. And that like leads up to his eventual like full realization of himself later.
Yeah, well, first we see them go to this thrift store, and
Yeah.
he puts on a dress, and he looks really uncomfortable. Like, this is definitely where I feel like this guy's going through some struggles right now, and the show is trying to help him through the struggle, but like, I don't. He needed some time and some. Anyway, guess what happened? He had lots of time, so because the show was shut down for COVID. Yes, we're still doing COVID shows, and so then they came back, and when they came back, Noah was a non-binary. And along with also the guy's also non-binary, David or Eureka is also non-binary. So the kind of two peas in a pod there. So COVID, was bad, but also seemed to help this guy out. I think this show might have like baby stepped him forward into like, oh, maybe there's more wrong. But what do I know?
You actually have a good point. The one thing I was thinking about during this entire thing was they crammed 3 people into the episode, and with Queer Eye, you got to see them like grow a little bit, like throughout it, like overcome like different challenges about themselves. Whereas this, like, wanted more of that growth, but it ends up being that whole draw the owl problem, where like it tells you like, okay, like draw a circle and then draw the rest of the owl. It just like jumps to the end. And this one was like, it makes a lot more sense because they're not, they have so much time to develop over COVID that like we actually see like the end product versus like where they had like fast forward later and it's like, oh yeah, we see that in Queer Eye.
It is definitely, I see what you're saying. You're saying that like this episode with COVID really saw a giant jump from these people, as we're going to get into. But like a normal episode is not going to have this jump.
No, you're going to see that at like the end of the episode with like a 5-minute thing.
Yeah. So, I don't know. The one thing to note about this COVID thing is that this episode was supposed to be season 1, episode 6. But instead they did like a Zoom thing for season 1, episode 6, where they just went over their, how they became drag queens or something. So like this, there's like a lot of seeming emotions with the hosts about getting back together and being back here and finishing this episode. And that comes through. Like it feels, they do it. It feels like we're watching what's actually happening here.
Yeah, but also counterpoint. Like we saw them like reunite after like more than a year of being apart, completely separated. Like this is a tight-knit community, and they have their moment, and then just go off and like fuck off with like the people that they're trying to improve. Like you don't really see them like interact too much together until the show.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that the 3 of them did. I just felt like the show in general, I like they made it a big point of coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know when the show aired, but I think there was a big heavy a lot of that after like right after COVID ended and they got some productions going and like it's like, I think we're producing again. Anyway, so he comes back as non-binary and like his journey's essentially ended. Like he doesn't need much help to go on this drag show. Like they kind of just like, they bring out these really high-heeled boots and he's like, these are perfect. And he puts them on and does like a high kick and you're like, all right, he's ready. Then there's some shots of them, making the choreography and getting ready. But like, that's like all Noah's journey was kind of not in the show.
Yeah, I didn't think like any of their journeys were in the show. Because like you didn't see the journey, and then like it fast forwarded to 2021.
Well, we can get into it. We'll just talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Noah
okay.
now. Also, Noah and Nadia, his best friend or something, do a podcast, and we could not find it. That's where we need the audience here to tell us what this podcast was. We want to know. We want to know.
Yeah, that would actually be cool. Like it, like just like this show opened up my eyes to a lot of the community, then that could also open my eyes like in other ways.
Maybe we should have a challenge to our buddy Noah, see if he can find the podcast.
Internet
He's
corner,
really
where
good
are
at the
ya?
internet corner. We've been missing the internet corner for sure.
Yep.
So, do you want to talk about his performance, or should we do the performances at the end?
Let's do the performance at the end.
All right. So let's talk about Faith. So we show up at Faith, and I assume he was born male and is now a woman. Like that, she the whole way. She looks like a girl, like 100%. And then we've got her. What was her drag queen? Shangela.
Shangela.
Shangela Laquifa Wadley was her drag queen.
Actually, it's Shangela.
Shangela. Thanks, Brian. Made me look like an idiot. Shangela. You're right. It was Shangela. Are you sure it was Shangela?
Yeah.
No, you're wrong. It's not Shangela. It was Bob.
Was it? Oh, it was Bob?
It was Bob. Sorry, everyone. It's Bob. I even wrote down Bob.
Damn it. I fixed that later, yeah.
Yeah, it's Bob. Sorry. We'll talk about Shangela later.
Yeah.
Bob is the drag queen. She's with he. They're both black. They're both trans, I guess, at this point, or whatever you want to call it. That's really probably not the most sensitive thing to be saying in this podcast.
No, like we also like just got introduced to these characters. Like
Yeah. So they're like, she's a tattoo artist. She had a pretty nice face tattoo and a bunch of tattoos. And they made some sort of thing like Bob was going to get a tattoo, but then he didn't get the tattoo. It was really weird.
yeah, they showed like a hint of it, but like I don't think he got a tattoo.
Yeah. It was like, we didn't really get into like what her struggles were going to be on this thing, like at all. Like she just seemed like, okay, well, let's get some choreography, let's get some makeup in, and I didn't see a lot of hesitation from her.
Not really, but like there was still like the confidence piece, like there because they mentioned that like being like a black tattoo artist was like she was the only black tattoo artist there, and this is also like an area that's mostly white male dominated, so it's a very difficult thing to enter.
Yeah, I mean it's the South. Yeah, I mean like, sure, like I think a drag show would give you a lot of confidence, for sure, 100%. Like this show at the end, 100% you get some confidence out of that, no doubt. So, but there's not like spent a lot of time with her, and I don't really understand. I don't know who she is, what her struggles on a day-to-day basis are. Like we find out after COVID that she has a girlfriend, Shaniqua, and we sit around this table and talk to like some people about how the South sucks, essentially, and like that's it.
Yeah, again, that was also like just this paint the whole owl. It jumped really far and gave like nothing.
Yeah, I agree. As Bob, Bob's not a great name from what I could tell as a drag queen. Not impressed.
I mean, it's still powerful. It's like, okay, simplicity is king sometimes, or queen.
That's fair. Let me see what his real name is. His real name is Caldwell Titicue, which is interesting. It's an interesting name. Yeah, that's all we really have to say about her. Then we got Olin. So this is kind of a weird thing for me. I don't really understand this full thing. And I think, your weird analogy I might be getting, but finally getting. So we got Olin. He's a straight guy. He's a father and a husband, and he's like his brother is a drag queen called Patio Furniture.
Now that's a name.
That is better than Bob. So he is doing this to like get to be closer to his brother. And like that's a nice thing, right? Like I think that it's a nice gesture. I think it will get them to be closer, and that's great. So with Olin, we got Shangela,
Yeah.
as we already said.
Yeah, I think that like this was also interesting because who was the more serious like person on Queer Eye? Cameron. Yeah, like I imagine like a combo between like Olin and Pat, aka Patio Furniture, just be like, oh, like I was a little offended because Olin felt really bad that he was the last one to know about Pat, his brother.
Yeah, about
and he thought
that he was gay.
Yeah, and now it's just like this is a chance to rebuild that because of course that kind of stinks to feel like you thought you were close and then no, he was afraid to tell your own brother was afraid to tell you something important.
Yeah, I mean, his whole segments has been like, yeah, I'm not comfortable doing this drag thing, but I'm trying to get closer to my brother. You good with these heels? No, I'm not comfortable with these heels. Like that's like this whole thing. Like every scene of him is like just like how he's uncomfortable with the situation and like he's just doing it. Like I don't even see Shangela coming in and giving him any like prep advice. She's just like there.
Yep. And that was like I really want to see some of that coaching because it's something that like everybody
what is
could
this show? What is the show? If you don't see the coaching,
right? But I mean, it's still you're inheriting from like RuPaul's Drag Race, so like you're gonna get this celebration of the like celebration of just becoming yourself and expressing yourself.
Yeah. Also, everyone now, we're going to take a moment of silence for the beard of Olin's beard because it was glorious and they just shaved it off and he wasn't even sad about it. So now I got to be sad for his beard because he wasn't sad for his own beard. So. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for the moment of silence there.
Yeah, that was... I guess like for after a year, like you kind of realize, I can grow it back, or he got comfortable with it. I don't know.
I mean, it was kind of long, but it wasn't like long, you know?
No, but it was solid.
It was a solid beard. Like Brian was totally jealous of this beard. He could not grow this beard.
Yeah, I cried a little bit.
I could grow this beard.
Don't rub it in.
To that matter, it'd probably only take me like 6 months probably to grow that beard. So he could probably do it. Who knows? I don't know. Just sad. It was just sad. But that's kind of where we get. We get like, it's just so weird because Noah had like such a long way to go to get to where he needed to be a drag queen at the show. And then he just gets there without us seeing it. And then the other two, like, they have like nowhere to go. Like, I don't understand what, like, Olin, like, they didn't do anything for Olin to get him on the show. Like, I didn't really understand I just didn't get it. And they just need to dress him up and give him a choreography and give him confidence that he can go out there and do it. And, that's his segment. And then, like, Faith, it's like, I'm black and I'm in the South and like, how do I deal with being trans in the community and stuff like that? And then she goes out and does a show. And like, this is all fine in like a documentary. It's just like, I don't know. I wonder something's off about the show to me.
I wonder if part of it is also that this is a continuation of season 1, episode 6, and they filmed it kind of like we know that you've watched this, not like rolling in fresh like we are.
Season 1, this was supposed to be season 1, episode 6. It was not. They didn't show any of this.
Oh, okay.
They just rolled that footage into season 2.
I see.
Like all that footage pre-COVID was filmed for season 1, and then all the films post COVID for season 2.
I see. I thought they did like a small part of something and like
No,
continued it.
no.
Okay.
They audible to a different. They didn't make 6 episodes. They audible to some other Zoom thing. You know.
Yep.
There's Zoom things. Everyone loves those.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the best part of the show, which was the performance. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
So the first kind of performance was really Eureka O'Hara. He came out. He was the MC. And he came out and did like some crazy performance with like what he considered his drag family, and wasn't like introed at all. They just like kind of just did a show.
Yeah, it's the intro. They were all part of their original drag queen family, so it's just bringing back the OG crew.
I'm sure. I don't know. Again, didn't really set it up very well. They did a great show. I thought like him up there with the 3 of them, I think was really entertaining. At least in my eyes.
Yeah, it was good. I thought all the shows were good.
Oh, well, we're getting to them, Brian.
Yeah, no, I know.
We're getting to them. So then we got, we'll just go over Noah's because we talk about Noah first. So let's talk about Noah's show.
Yeah.
Noah did like, what they said in this episode was like they were trying to go with like an LGBTQ like sexy vibe, like because he's non-binary, and usually non-binaries like shies away from sexy time, like being sexy. Usually is what they said. So it was like him in a bikini, and then they lifted off the bikini at some point. And he's wearing pasties, but he doesn't have any boobs there. It's just he's a flat-chested white non-binary person,
but had the tassels and crushing it.
Yeah, he had the tassels. Now, Eureka though, he had the boobies.
Sure,
because they both wore the same kind of outfit and kind of did the show together. That's also a thing that happens, is that your drag partner does the show with you.
Mm-hmm.
It takes some of the pressure off you and helps you do a good show. Because there's 2 of you out there. He was in this black thing. It was really good. I thought it was entertaining too. I thought they did a great Good job.
Yeah, I definitely I agree on the pair situation. It also just, given that it's a lot of their first times, like it's just good to give confidence.
Yeah. I mean, as we talked about, this whole thing's about confidence.
Yeah.
So it's all about being confident enough to come out. It's all confident enough to wear, the fanciest dress and wear fancy makeup and like try to be more yourself. And I think they do a good job of doing that in this part of the show. Then after that, we've got Faith. Faith comes out and she like blossoms into some sort of like, I don't know, what does she blossom into? Some sort of tiger outfit. Like she gets watered. She's in this thing and loses the dress and becomes like this sexy tiger.
Yeah, she was planted and now she's fully grown and blossomed
into a sexy tiger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought the show was good. Bob did it. I think Bob might have been the weakest like partner in terms of the drag presence, or Faith just really did it like a bang up job here. I don't know.
I mean, probably a mix of both. Like, hey, don't need to be the limelight. Just focus on Faith.
Yeah, she did a great job. And then we got Olin. He comes out and I don't even know how to describe this performance at all.
There was an effort because it was like Olin was there like spiritually, but he didn't have the dance moves memorized, so he was just like looking over all the time, like trying to see it at the same time.
He definitely was one of the poorest. He was a poor performer.
Yeah, which I get it. It's all tough. I think that would have made more sense to put effort towards than shaving the beard, to be honest.
You can't have the beard when you're a drag queen, bro.
I know, but at the same time, like it, just memorizing the dance and like being there, like and like really putting your full effort into it would have been amazing.
Look, the fact that he dressed up as a woman and got out there, that's like you like that
that takes so much effort. Like, yeah, you're right. I'm
Yeah,
critiquing for that.
don't critique him too much about
Yeah.
dance moves. He's got to be hella nervous. Like
Yeah, he's looking over like
As
just,
the
I think I forgot everything.
as the straight guy, like this isn't for him to come out. This
No.
is for him. This isn't for him to be himself. This is him being uncomfortable and like feeling what it's like to be his brother. Like that's not like a thing. It's just like a different connotation to this whole thing.
Yeah, I guess that's also where it feels a little crappy because the whole development was supposed to be like, yeah, like be a little like more confident about this, like less afraid of what people are thinking. And obviously, like, yeah, like you're still gonna be nervous, but you don't know like what he's worked on for that time period.
I don't know. I don't think that the show did a great job of doing that, and the show could have. So
Yeah,
that's not on me. Also, Patio Furniture came out, just so
Yeah.
you know. There's Patio Furniture, Shangela, and Olin all out there. It's pretty good. I thought it was entertaining. The one thing I have to say about watching these performances is there's a lot of cheering, a lot of clapping. You can hear it. But then there's also just a lot of reaction shots and not a lot of showing the performances, which seemed weird to me. Like, I know, obviously, they're not going to have the best performances, but it seemed a little too much for me. Personally, I was like, I want to see the performance. I can cheer and shout. I don't need to see the other people, but the cheering and seeing the other people, like, fill in loops of people you've seen throughout the episode to see them cheer and like have their dad or whatever other people we talk to there. I get it, but
I think I was thinking as you brought that up, I like it a little bit only because it shows that like there is a good community and there's nothing to fear. Whereas like just watching the performance, you'd probably just turn on like RuPaul's Drag Race and see like awesome performances. But this is going to be like about your home, your community, like the people around you. It showing the crowd, they could have toned it down maybe, but showing the crowd be enthusiastically supportive is heartwarming, especially after some of the stuff they already talked about, like during their struggles growing up.
yeah. So after the performances, the show's essentially over,
Yeah.
right? So there's like a little talk about the performance afterwards, but there's no like, there isn't a whole lot of like, what have we learned? Are we ourselves again? Not a lot of that. But then there's like this inside this episode on HBO where they kind of go over what their thought process was, and for like the presentations that they made, like there was like a working girl kind of like 80s motif for Faith's, and then like whatever the sexy part, we already went over the sexy part for Noah, and I forget what the one was for Olin. Doesn't matter. You can
Yeah.
watch it if you want. And then there was like who made the dresses and their hair and stuff. I thought that was kind of interesting. Like kind of like showed their passion for like that side of drag, you know?
It's not even just drag, but like fashion in general or like appearances. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in drag there.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and that's the whole episode. You have any minutia you want to get into before we move on to questions?
So when they introduced the time warp to 2021, there was a great moment when Eureka knocked on Noah's door. I was like, I don't want anything. And it just reminded me when you say, I don't want any cookies.
It's true. You used to answer the door a lot like that. I haven't done that in a while, actually. But yeah, that's definitely a Chris special for sure. I think we're gonna skip who's the worst because
COVID. Done.
because of COVID. COVID is the worst. Got it. You know. So that's what we're gonna do with that. Do you think the hosts, is this apex for these hosts or not? These three
Yeah.
drag queens.
I think so. Like making something that's going to be enthusiastic or like supportive of the entire community and like spawned off of RuPaul's Drag Race, owning that, it's got to be your apex.
Yeah, I mean, you got 3 seasons on it. Well, you got renewed for a 3rd season on HBO. So like
Nice.
the show's still going, and those signs of slowing down clearly because you've season 2's out. You're doing season 3. I would probably consider Apex, even though a lot less people are probably going to see this show than see them in RuPaul. But like that's RuPaul's show, that's not their show. What do you think would this show be better as a Quibi?
I think if you focused on one person, maybe, and their growth, but this still had a lot to it. Each person basically got like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you really got to get into the person. You really got to let them feel it out. Then you got to have the performance. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be tough to do in 8 minutes. It's possible, but I don't think it'd be a better show. What do you love about this show?
Simply put, that it inspires me to get confidence. Like, it's inspiring to a lot of people.
Brian, you sexy.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Coming from such a sexy person as yourself,
Yeah.
it means a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the tone and message of the show is top notch. I think that like, it definitely wavers in some serious topics, but then also wavers into like pulling you out of those serious topics in a helpful way.
Yeah.
And, I think other episodes are probably better at it than this one. But I think that the goal and message and how it's made is really good. What about some drinking rules, Brian?
Ooh. So they've had these like awesome messages between some segments.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Drink when those pop up.
Oh, that's good.
There were some good ones like, give me my body. You will be in pain.
For every performance that starts, cheers them. Give them your confidence. Take a drink.
Every time you see a dress, take a drink.
Every time you see a dress. Every time you see, like, I don't know if it should be every dress.
What about every outfit change?
Whose outfit change?
Everybody's like,
Okay.
I've seen like 5 or 6 outfits from Eureka.
Game over. You dead. I think you should drink every time, like, somebody overcomes something. Like, they put on a dress at the thrift store. They're like, get over the fact that, they're in South Carolina and they're not accepted or something. Like, you gotta drink with them.
All right, I got one. Drink every time you think you can pull off one of the outfits somebody's wearing.
I don't like the. I'm sure. I just don't know of a good one for like while the actual documentary is on.
I mean, you have your classic sob story.
I think every time like one of the friends or like not the main person gets interviewed about like the situation or gets introduced, take a drink. I think there's going to be enough of those where you're going to be happy, but not like too happy, like the dress changes rule.
I feel like you don't like that rule.
You tweet at me. Oh, one of the interstitials I wrote down was, "That's a slutty booty."
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I knew I wrote one of them down. Who's going to hook up next, Brian?
Eureka and somebody.
Eureka? Not Faith and Shaniqua?
Nah.
They definitely hooking up after that performance, dude.
Yeah.
They had that slow song. They're doing it. All right, so we do a rating system where we do a stack rank. So we got a top, middle, bottom, third, and some people stack rank in their stack ranks. Brian, what do you got for me?
So it can never be as high as Queer Eye for me. So I think it's got to be like middle of the middle. Like, it still had a really positive message and everything, but I want to see more of the development. And I'm kind of hoping that it was just this episode as that COVID bridge that was super different from everything else, and we'll see a lot more development in other episodes.
Yeah, I think it's, I'll do it. You got top of the middle. I think that is potential to be top, but it was an hour. And you really could have cut out 15 minutes easily from the show. And as we talked about, we didn't see a lot of the process. And, that's part of the COVID show, the COVID part of this episode, which, we watched this one. So, that's what it is. I think it has potential to be top third show, but this particular episode didn't make it. It didn't make the cut.
No.
Mainly because it was too long. Hour-long show, you got to really step it up. Our boy Noah, not the one in the show, podcast friend Noah, he also gave a rating. He said middle of the top. Very solid show for an hour episode. Good character development and getting to get some story depth. Would be interesting to see if other episodes follow different story arc, as this episode had a very familiar story arc of bringing old school town into acceptance. A good story which needs to be told, but would want to see other stories in other episodes. Did enjoy the brother getting into the act. The voguing was phenomenal. Great throwback to our legendary and RuPaul episodes. Disclaimer, I was audio for at least 50% of the epi. Also, Spartanburg looks like a nice place to live. Good schools and affordable housing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was laughing the whole time. Anyway, thanks, Noah, for watching the show with us. And you essentially picked the show because we're kind of looking at, Pride Month, doing a Pride show. We do it. There's 4 or 5 or 7 or 12 on Discovery Plus. We were thinking about doing.
Well, we started this and we saw that it was going into COVID territory, and we didn't know if we wanted to deal with that.
We didn't, but Noah had said that he was going to watch this episode, so we had to keep going. We definitely would have switched. But anyway, there's a show on Discovery Plus that's I forget what it's called, but it's a queer show, but it's a remodel show. So it's they're queering up houses. And
Generation Drag?
I don't know. No, that's not.
Oh,
no, that was a show we weren't really thinking about doing because we just did the Little John show.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just all those shows are so similar. But yeah, shout at us at Who Put This On and tell us what you think we should watch. Brian, you got a shout out.
So I finished Obi-Wan.
Wait, you watched the finale?
Yeah.
It just came out today, dude.
Yeah.
What are you working?
Yeah. Well, I also wake up and then I can just chill in bed.
Yo, I didn't watch it yet. Don't spoil
Okay.
it.
But then I did also start picking up Stranger Things season 3 again.
Whoa, Stranger Things got to be over Kenobi, dude.
I just wanted to finish it, and then now we're good. We're smooth sailing.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm doing season 3, so not even season 4, part 1.
Oh, you're doing season 3. The mall season.
Yeah.
Mall season's good. That's good. Good show. Brian and I just watched Jurassic World Dominion last night. Brian, I need your thoughts.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I will rag on this movie that most of the plot did not make sense, and for a good hour I was like, I do not care about this movie, and legitimately thought about walking out.
You didn't think about walking.
I thought about it. I was just staring at the candy that was next to me, and I was just like, I can't. I will.
Okay. This movie, I don't really recommend going to see it, but if you and your buddies got together and were watching this movie and you made fun of the movie while you're watching it, I think that would be the ideal way to watch this movie. It's not very good. There's a lot of things to make fun of, and it's I think it's a bad movie, but it verges on so bad it's good if you go down that route.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Brian, you didn't sit next to me, so that was your fault because
Yeah.
I offered, and we could have made fun of the movie the whole time.
That's true.
I was making fun of the movie in my head, so I had a good time. There's some very questionable things that happen in this movie. So, I mean, maybe we could do some slight spoilers here. We could talk about it more in depth about what we hated about the movie. Because I think
Let's just bring up one thing we hated for spoilers.
One thing? Go ahead. You go first.
The new dinosaur names.
The Gigantor or whatever.
Yeah, Giganotosaurus.
Yeah, I don't think that's their fault though.
It
I think that's just the name of the dinosaur.
I don't think it is.
I think it is, dude.
I don't.
I promise you that's the name of that dinosaur.
It's weak. It's weak. You can come up with a lot better. And that's
yeah,
just like
but
one,
that's just like what these people think about. Oh, it's a Gigantor. Oh my God, it's Gigantus. We're gonna call it Gigantor.
Yeah, it's a real big indicator towards the rest of the writing in this movie.
No, I don't. I'm telling you, it's not the movie. I don't understand what to tell you. It's not the movie.
What about Jurassic World Forgotten Kingdom?
I'm just telling you that I think the worst part of this whole movie is the script. Whoever wrote this was an idiot.
Yeah.
There's a whole plot line about these fucking locusts. No one cares about fucking locusts in a Jurassic Park movie. I want to see the dinosaurs. I want to see the dinosaurs murder people. I want to see the dinosaurs, help people. I want to see some of the set pieces of the movie are great. There was a dinosaur chase scene with some raptors, very Mission Impossible like, and that was really cool. That was a great scene.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Then like the best scene in the movie was like the one girl is coming out of a parachute in a plane, and she had to get out of the way of the Gigantosaurus or whatever, and she went underwater. It was just fucking phenomenal scene. Like almost makes it worth to see the whole movie, but it was 2.5 hours, so it doesn't. But the highlight of the movie by far.
Yeah, Predator was good.
Yeah, the Predator scene. There's a lot of callbacks to the OG one in this movie.
Yeah, and it bordered on like annoying.
Yeah, they brought back the can from the first one,
Like
the Barbasol can.
Like it's fine, but when it's so okay, when I read articles about like how they would put like the Barbasol can in the background, that's cool. But when they focus on it for like a good like second or so, it's like, yo, this is a throwback. Like you should go check this out. I don't like that.
Let's be clear. Jurassic Park is the only good movie that they've released in this franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the only great movie. Some of the other movies are, I would probably say good, but this movie, if you didn't, we could say that if you didn't like the last one, this one's significantly better, but not better enough. Right.
Right. Yeah. It still just irritated the hell out of me. They gotta not do another one, and I don't think they will because there was no end credit scenes. So,
Brian, in your lifetime, there will be another Jurassic Park. There'll be 3 to 10 more Jurassic Park movies.
yeah, and it's all because you have the 7% of people who are like, we want Jurassic Park back.
Or there's the people like me who's like, well, you put dinosaurs in a movie? Let's go. Yeah, because the CG in this movie wasn't very good. There was a third of the scenes that was like, that dinosaur is not there. Like, all the time. I was like, what's going on with the CG in this movie? But
yeah, they just stopped caring at some point, and they're like, they'll get their money.
maybe it's just so boring that like
You start picking it apart.
picking apart the CG. The one last thing I want to leave on for this movie is that there's a scene at the end of the movie with the evil like CEO guy. He's like packing up in his office because all the dinosaurs are coming in, and apparently that's ruined his whole company. Whatever. Then the guy that betrays him comes into the office, and there's a scene where he just kind of like the CEO guy's like, yeah, you ready? We're going to start a new company. We're going to do bigger. We're going to do better. You ready? You're the CEO? And the other dude just stares at him. And then he's like, it was you. You betrayed me. And the dude just stares at him. And it's just like, this dude doesn't say a fucking word in this whole thing.
Yeah, somebody watch Driver.
Just like, I was like, why did you go in that office then if you were going to say anything?
To gloat, man. You got to stand there and gloat. He's like, I got you.
Got a gloat. Okay. All right. Well, tell us what you thought about Jurassic World. Follow us on Twitter at WhoButTheSon. Vote in our poll. Find us on WhoButTheSon TikTok podcast. WhoButTheSon podcast on TikTok.
Yeah.
You can email us questions and suggestions at WhoButTheSon@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show.
I'm
I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I got to let it show.